About the web sign-in for Windows. This facilitates a passwordless experience and they reduce the risk for phishing for the end user. So, using a web sign-in for Windows, it will allow the end users to sign into the Windows without entering their password. Right. So that way, it is like reduced risk of any phishing attacks. It's like a completely passwordless experience, if you will. Now it will also improve the end user experience because it supports MFA now with the mobile application, which will allow the users to sign in from anywhere at any time, and then they don't have to carry multiple devices, right? They can just rely on the mobile phone to authenticate themselves, reducing the need to carry maybe the hardware tokens, etc., or maybe FIDOs, etc. Easier passwordless rollouts. This additional capability web sign-in for Windows that will provide you more options like for the passwordless sign-in, like a FIDO2, or it could be Windows Hello for Business using a biometrics, or maybe Hello for Business PIN. Now, this additional web sign-in will kind of have one more option provided to the end users. So it'll be much more easier for this organization to roll out the passwordless for users. This is basically when a user is logging onto the Windows computer. We'll have a look at the demonstration on how it is done and what will be the end user experience is like. Jump onto the computer. So now you can see John Doe 001. He can enter the PIN. We go and click on the sign in option. The credential provider, the preference, etc., that can be set on Intune. Now, if you look at the credential provider, which are given for the end user, is basically a PIN, or a web sign-in. The password is completely hidden. I'll take you through the steps in terms of how it is done. But you can notice there is only web sign-in and PIN. Click on the web sign-in. I'll give an option for John Doe. Say that, okay, you can send notifications. So no passwords entered here. I get a prompt on my phone, and I provide my biometrics, provide the number, and then I provide my biometrics on my phone, and then I'm in, right? So for John Doe, end user, he's basically entering to the computer without any password whatsoever using a simple MFA application, which is registered on the phone. That's it, I'm in. That's the end user experience like. We'll see how this is done. Go to the admin portal. Go to intune.microsoft.com or endpoint.microsoft.com. Go to devices, Windows, configuration profiles. For obvious reason, you need to enable the Windows Hello for Business, Kerberos Trust, Cloud Kerberos Trust, or whatever preferred method. So we'll choose to go with Cloud Kerberos Trust so that you don't have to set up any PKI infrastructure, etc. So this is the latest and greatest, and then the one which is suggested. So this is one of the prerequisite, right? So you can assign that to the device group or maybe the user group. Now the key thing here is basically this particular policy. So this is the base one for enabling Windows Hello for Business and push it down to the computers or the user. This is the web sign-in experience. It's another configuration policy targeted to the same set of users or maybe the devices. And then the configuration here, what you need to push it down to the computers would be. These are all optional components. Web sign-in allowed URL so that you can add the your tenant's name or the domain which is registered, the user's UPN, configure webcam access domain. This is also optional, does not need to have, but good to have types. These are two main configuration items which you need to add that in the catalog. One would be enable passwordless experience, enable web sign-in. So this enable passwordless experience is basically available only for Windows insiders. This is the one which will hide the password credential, and that will leave the user with the Windows PIN, FIDO, whatever has been enabled for them. Right. So that way, user does not need to, does not get that option of providing the password. And this is a key one: enable web sign-in. Right. So you turn this enabled and then target it to the appropriate groups, and the deal is done. Way to create is basically platform, just 10, and then say setting catalog. So give it a name, add setting, and then you search for the component. What do you want to search? Enable web sign-in, authentication, select out categories, and then say you can enable this. So that way you can search for the appropriate setting and then in the catalog, and you can add that. So these are the one is the enablement of Windows Hello for Business, and then you enable the web sign-in experience. Now, there are other prerequisites in terms of Windows 11 latest build, and then the device would need to be, Microsoft Entra joined, domain joined. Right now won't work. Hybrid won't work. Um, yeah, and for the user, you need to enable the passwordless as well, right? So these are, I mean, for obvious reason, this would have been already covered, but you haven't. In case if you want to set this up for ground up, then you'll have to make sure you enable the authenticator setting, and for the user, either you can be passwordless or any, and for the end user, you can have them to install the authenticator application on the phone, and then they can enable the passwordless. This article basically talks about how do we enable that for end users, or how do we enable the passwordless for end users. That's that. So yeah, so this is the one of the latest and greatest features. Using this web sign for Windows, users can log in to computers in a much more secure way without providing any passwords at all. Enhances the passwordless journey for a customer.